Thank you guys again so much for being here. I appreciate it. My name is Katy Bentz. You guys should be able to chat in that little stage chat on the side there if you guys have any questions at all. And feel free to just ask those throughout this presentation, and I will answer them as I go or at the very end of this. So for this first little bit here, we're going to talk for about 30 minutes about my experience on Twitch. And then we're going to bring in a couple of other streamers that you guys can also ask questions about. And we're just going to kind of do like a roundtable discussion about their experiences and everything. So to get started, again, my name is Katy Bentz. I am a partnered Twitch streamer. I also am an actor, voice actor. Some of you may have ever heard of Life is Strange Before the Storm. It's a video game series, a part of Life is Strange, and I voice acted in that, and that's how I got started on Twitch 3 years ago. So for those of you who don't know what Twitch is a live streaming platform that you can utilize as a gamer, as a content creator to help build your communities. Twitch has been around for a while now. It used to be Justin TV. So right now Twitch is booming, especially because of the pandemic, because a lot of people are starting to find out about Twitch and find out about live streaming. So basically, if you've never heard the term of live streaming before, a lot of people hear streaming like Netflix or Amazon Prime. So live streaming is pretty much like what you see here, except for I might be playing a video game, or I might be playing music, or crafting, or cooking, or playing, or setting up Legos. That's what's really great about Twitch, is you can do so much with the platform. If you have any kind of skill or talent, and I tell this to everybody that I meet, especially when I see that they can have something and utilize it through Twitch, I say get on Twitch and start streaming it, especially now. It's growing. There are a lot more people on there to collaborate with. It's really crazy. And again, you can use and put anything on Twitch. Some of the people that we have coming up, some of the other streamers, we have a music streamer, we have another voice actor, so you'll be able to talk with them a little bit about how they've utilized Twitch as well. And what's really cool too about, I hope the people that are watching this, I don't know if you're kind of into gaming or if you're kind of into the tech side of it all, but what's really cool as well about Twitch is that you don't have to necessarily be in front of the camera. Say you don't feel like you have a good personality or whatnot. There is a huge place for producers, for managers, for people who want to build a stream from the ground up and necessarily don't want to be in front of the camera. I was a part of a really great channel that is no longer running on Twitch, but it was called SideQuest, and it was a channel that basically took a bunch of different Twitch streamers and made them hosts on this channel and took them around LA, and we did a bunch of weird challenges, and we did segments and covered events, and it was just a lot of fun, but it was all built up from these producers. So they created everything. They created the whole segments that you see on the channel, and we were just brought in as talent. Eventually, we started having a little bit more input just because it just kind of grew as that. It kind of grew as a close-knit channel, but it was just awesome to see that you can just build anything on it. You don't have to be in front of the camera. And so I met a lot of people through that. I got a lot of inspiration, a lot of motivation. And then as well as I'm running my own channel, I decided to co-produce a channel called Mishmash TV with a friend at the time. And it basically, we wanted to give discoverability to streamers that we felt didn't have that recognition. And you'll meet two of those streamers as well at 4:30 Eastern time. So they'll be coming on and we can talk to them as well. So again, we wanted to bring people on that we thought needed that discoverability, that recognition for all their hard work that they're doing on Twitch. Because discoverability, even though Twitch is doing a really great job at doing what it does, it's still really hard to find people. It's very saturated. But it's working on it, and it's getting a lot better. So we took those people, we had musicians, we had gamers, we had artists, and we all put them on one channel, one kind of hubs, and they'd all stream. They all had the same stream key, and they would just stream to that channel. So every 3 hours there'd be another streamer on the channel. Since then, that has turned into a stream team, which if you've never heard of stream teams, basically, as a partner, you can run 2 stream teams. So I have a stream team with my community's streamers. They're called the Beanie Bandits. And then I also have the Mishmash TV stream team, which is the collective of the streamers from Mishmash TV's channel put onto a stream team. And we still do things together. We just had, and it's really cool too. What's great about stream teams is not only can you collab with each other and network with each other through Twitch, but even outside of Twitch. Like, yesterday we had a Secret Santa with the Mishmash TV channel, so that was really cool. But yeah, it's just it goes to show you that you can do so much through Twitch if you just have an idea, and there are tons of different things to do. And if you're like, okay, well, I don't really have producer, I don't really have a manager like idea set in my mind, I don't really want to be in front of the camera. If you have any kind of tech inspired ideas, there's another whole different avenue for that there. Now, I'm not I'm not very technical. Like, I just get in front of the, if anyone has ever watched my streams, like, I don't know how to even run my audio sometimes. So the tech side of it, there is a bunch there. I'm not so well-rounded in that, though. But awesome. Thank you so much for that question, Richard. I will get to that in 1 second. I appreciate that. But with tech, so extensions, Twitch extensions is a huge thing. Some of you guys might have watched the Blurp panel yesterday. So Blurp is a sound alert extension, and I am so grateful to be able to work with them. There's also, I've worked with Gawkbox, I've worked with Prize Rush, I've worked with Kame.gg. Some of those don't have extensions yet on Twitch, but they are utilizing Twitch as an avenue for themselves and being able to connect with other streamers to help them. And so, again, Blurp is sound alerts. So basically people can come in and there's a little overlay on my stream where they can select different sounds that they would like to play during the stream. Like if I'm playing a horror game, they can play scary sounds to make me like jump, or if they're just want to play a sound just to troll me, like Shia LaBeouf's Just Do It. Like, that happens constantly when I'm just playing a game or saying something and they're just like, okay, Katie, let's go, just do it, you know, and they just interact. And it's a great way to integrate the viewers into the stream. And there's tons of different extensions like that. And then you have music extensions like Pretzel Rock, Monster Cat, tons of stuff like that, which also gets me into Dmca. If you've never heard of Dmca, that is what's going on with Twitch right now, and it's kind of a big thing, but it's the Digital Millennium Copyright Act. So that was back in 1998, where basically you can't play anything copyright, or you will get takedowns or bans from the channel. And because of the pandemic and because of, I think because the music industry doesn't really have much, money coming in from their tours and everything like that, they're trying to look through to different avenues of what to do with that. So they're trying to say, hey, okay, you can't play our music on here. So that's what we're dealing with a lot now. But programs like Pretzel Rock, programs like Monster Cat, they have copyright-free music that we can all play on our streams. So there's definitely a lot to look at with Twitch and a lot to try and figure out on how to make it easier for streamers. I know I'm kind of covering a lot of stuff, but I just wanted to kind of give you guys a broad overview on it all so you had an idea, I guess, of what Twitch is and what you can do on Twitch if you're in different fields. So Richard asks, how do you measure success on Twitch? I think that that is kind of up to you. I think that you need to know and understand that Twitch is not something that's going to happen overnight. A lot of people think that, especially the people that I say, hey, you should stream on Twitch. I think that you could definitely, take advantage of this amazing opportunity that's out there. I had an example of this. I had a friend who was a pianist on the cruise ship that I went on a cruise on back in March, right before the pandemic hit. And he ended up being out of a job because the cruise lines aren't, doing cruises anymore. And I said, you would do amazing on Twitch. You would do phenomenal. I said, you should start a Twitch channel. And he asked me a bunch of questions, and, I sent him a bunch of videos for Streamlabs and for, getting certain things to set up his piano and his mics and all that stuff, because I believed that he would be really great. And he started his Twitch channel, and I think he probably streamed on Twitch for maybe a month, and he was like, I can't do it anymore. And I said, I mean, that's fair. Like, sometimes it doesn't work out, right? But he just didn't have the drive. He just didn't have the drive to continue going. But had he continued going, I strongly do believe had he continued growing, he would have definitely seen a huge growth in his views and his community. I mean, at the time he stopped, he had about 12 people watching him, which honestly, that's good. That's good, because it is hard. It's hard to gain those viewers on Twitch. It really is. So again, how do you measure success? I think it's just, you know, are you seeing growth in a sense of, like, you know, when you started? Say you start with like 3 viewers, you know, are you gaining growth at all? Even if you're at 12 viewers, you're still growing, and that's amazing. And just, you know, you gotta have fun with it too. You gotta have fun with it. Yes, it can be, for me, it's a full-time job. For others, it could be something that they do on the side to have fun with. And even if it is a full-time job, it's like, are you still having fun with it? You know, if you're not having fun with it, you know, you might need to reevaluate what you're doing. When does streaming start feeling like a job? Hi. So, nice question. I like it. So streaming is my job. And I don't know, it doesn't feel like a job. So I've been my own entrepreneur here for about 2 years. I haven't had another job. Let me back up. So I also am an actor, so I do acting on the side. So I do acting and Twitch simultaneously. But I haven't had a person above me being like, hey, you know, dictating what I do. This is what I do. I, you know, manage myself. I'm my own boss. And it's such a weird job, because I'm sitting in front of my computer talking to a camera and, you know, seeing a chat fly by and interacting with people online. It's out of the norm. It's unconventional. And I don't know if it will ever feel like a job, because I get to go on here and do what I want to do for fun, and it's great. Like, I started doing a paint by numbers painting because I just wanted to do it. I wanted to experience painting on stream, you know, and as a variety streamer, I've just been able to do a bunch of different things. I do makeup streams where I'll find, you know, like makeup inspired like ideas and just do it, figure it out. I do gaming. I'm playing Tony Hawk Pro Skate later tonight. It's just a bunch of random stuff, but and of course, when we come on, and I have the other streamers come on here in about 15 minutes, you'll see there's tons of different types of streamers. And so you can go on, start streaming on Twitch by, you know, doing your own little niche, or you can just do a bunch of random stuff. So I think it definitely works out different for different streamers. How much overlap is there between Twitch and, say, Instagram, YouTubers, TikTok? Oh, in terms of both audience and doers. So definitely I know that there are some TikTok, I guess, content creators who have started streaming on Twitch. I think that TikTok, it's weird. I've had friends tell me that there's not much of an overlap from TikTok and Twitch. Like, it's just really hard to bring viewers over from TikTok to Twitch. Now, I don't know if that's because of the age range over on TikTok. I think it's a fairly younger audience. And I feel like Twitch has there are still young people on Twitch for viewers, but I think it's a lot older than TikTok, so I think that it's harder that way. Same with Instagram, but I think it's a little bit more easier to have viewers come over from Instagram. YouTube, obviously a lot of Twitch streamers utilize YouTube with VODs, with highlights, going over there and doing their own thing and then trying to bring people back. But it's interesting because each of these platforms has its own viewers, and they watch, you know, these platforms for certain reasons. You know, some people will like Twitch because it's live and they can interact with the streamer, and some people just want to go on YouTube because it's shorter and they can get right to the point. People watch TikTok for, you know, short little funny videos, and Instagram for, you know, same kind of thing. So I think there's definitely somewhat of an overlap, but they're all very focused on their certain platforms. Hopefully that answers your question, Richard. How do you pull in revenue? Yes, so that's really important, and thank you for bringing that up. It's interesting because a lot of people are like, does Twitch pay you? How do you get money? So it's all donations. It's really all donations primarily, unless you are a big streamer. like I said, I still consider myself a small streamer, and bigger streamers, they have sponsorships, they have ad revenue coming in, but with smaller streamers like myself, it's all donation based. So it's really insane to try and wrap that around your mind that, you know, people who are watching you are literally paying you to do your job, and without them you wouldn't be able to do this. And I make sure to tell my community that all the time, like how grateful I am that they subscribe. So to go into like the details of that, so you have subscriptions, just like you have a subscription to Netflix or Amazon. You have different tier subscriptions. So there's $5, there is $10, and I think the other one is 15 or 20, but most of them are the $5 subscriptions, and they get emotes, they get they're immune to ads, they're immune to other things like slow-mo in the chat and that kind of stuff. And then you can also set different little perks for them outside of Twitch. And then you can get paid through Twitch bits. Bits is Twitch's money, like its currency. So people can buy bits, and then they can cheer them to you during the stream. You can also get paid through PayPal, which is hooked up through Streamlabs. So Streamlabs, Stream Elements, those are just two different platforms that you can use to stream through Twitch, the back end. Like right now, I am recording this on Streamlabs OBS, and I'll be putting that on YouTube later. But that's the back end of it. So they are hooked up with PayPal, and people can donate straight to PayPal. So those are some ways that you can get revenue. And then you can use those Twitch extensions like I was talking about earlier, like Blurp, for instance. Like Blurp is like, I told Derek is one of the people behind Blurp, I told him, like, I have seen such a crazy amount of influx, like financially, through Blurp with my Twitch channel, and it's because, you know, my community loves it. They think it's hilarious. They think it's so cool, and it's helped me so much this year, and I'm like, this is crazy, and super appreciative of it. So it's just finding those other extensions that, you know, can do that for you as a streamer financially. But Blurp uses Twitch bits, so a person would buy bits and then use their bits to cheer through Blurp. What are ways you can do to increase viewer counts? So yeah, to get back into, let me see, my train of thought. Connections are really important, and I think a lot of people don't like the idea of networking. They think it's like a bad word, but with the Twitch world, networking and collaborating is like super, super important in growing your channel. And honestly, like, I feel like if you don't network, if you don't work with other streamers, if you don't work with, you know, tech devs, it's going to be really, really hard to grow your community. With collaborating, with networking comes raids. Raids are when a streamer ends their stream, they can bring their stream to your stream and help, you know, to show people who you are and introduce you to other people, and hopefully people will follow your stream. But again, that comes from networking, right? I mean, sure, you might get some random raids here and there. They'll find your stream and they'll be like, oh, you're streaming the same game I'm streaming, let me raid you. But yeah, for instance, like, one of the streamers that are coming on later tonight, or later in 10 minutes, is my good friend Bree, and she, we met, gosh, like 3 years ago or something, from a viewer. So we met, and it was a networking thing. We met, you know, and she was like, oh, I'd love to have you on my YouTube channel. I want to do an interview. And I was like, oh yeah, that sounds great. I love it, you know. And luckily enough, like, we really hit it off, and like we've been friends since. And so not only did we network and, you know, find this beautiful, like, professional relationship, but we also found a friendship too, which is, you know, a plus to that. But she recently had such an amazing experience voicing a character in a game, and we can introduce her later with that. But through that, you know, she has had an influx in her viewers, and she's rated me so many times this year, and I can't, like, she's the reason why I got to 10,000 followers, honestly. And I think that when it comes to networking and collaborating and all that stuff, like, don't be, like, you know, just know that people helped you, and don't be like, oh, I got here all by myself, you know, like, no, we all helped each other get where we're going. And I think that's what's beautiful about finding streaming connections like that, where you're all are trying to lift each other up and I'm lucky enough to have found those people. Yeah, hopefully that answers your question. I think definitely collaborating networking is a huge thing in terms of helping to increase your viewer count. And obviously, like, playing games that are popular is a huge one too. It can go back and forth though, because it might be too saturated, but it might not, because there's a lot of people who want to go and find streamers who don't have a lot of people watching them to go watch a stream, for instance, on Cyberpunk. So it's a lot of luck. It's a lot of luck, and it's just a lot of hard work. The more you stream too, the more you're out there. And one thing I learned a long time ago, it's like, if you aren't streaming, things aren't going to happen. But if you are streaming, you might get a raid that day that's like amazing and brings so many people to your stream, or you might get a crazy donation that really helps, continue to amplify your career here, or, your side hustle. So just always stream, especially right now during the pandemic. Let's see. How much impact would you say is that like a cryptocurrency? Are you talking about the bits? No, bits is not cryptocurrency. So bits is just Twitch. Bits is Twitch money. I know that I have a good friend who does use cryptocurrency through Twitch, but it's like I know nothing about cryptocurrency, to be honest with you, as well. But I do know that there are some extensions through Twitch and some extensions outside of Twitch that you can use for cryptocurrency, and there are bots that people can make if you're like super into software development and all that kind of stuff, that will help integrate that into your Twitch channel. I'm serious, there's so many different things you can do on Twitch, and depending on where your brain sets, it's insane. And I wish that I knew how to do some of the tech stuff. But one of the guys coming on, who's from the Mishmash stream team, he's a lot more techie, and he might be able to answer some of those questions about that as well. But yeah, it's been a wild ride so far, and I really think that, especially now during the pandemic, this is the time right now. People always say, I can't jump in anymore because it's too late. People say that with YouTube. Even though I think with YouTube, there's still a way to gain a following, even if it might, have been the most popular 10 years ago. There's still a way to gain a following on it. And I think that's the same thing for Twitch. Twitch started out as just gaming. There was nothing else. It was just gaming. And it's slowly turned into what it is now. There's so many different things. There's so many categories. And I only see that growing. I think compared to all the different gaming and streaming platforms like YouTube and Facebook, I think Twitch, if they continue going in the right direction, I think that they're going to continue to stay on top of all the streaming sites. If you were to start out from scratch, what are your first 5 steps? Ooh, I like that question. So the first 5 steps, get a camera. You can get like a nice Logitech camera for like $50. Get yourself a nice microphone. The Yeti Blue mics are really awesome. The Snowball, that's perfect. That's really all you need if you're doing from PC gaming. You can also stream from your PS4. I believe you can also stream from the PS5 too if you have a PS5, right to Twitch. That's actually how I started streaming video games, was from my PS4. So definitely getting all of that. Figuring out what you want to focus on. What do you want to focus on? Do you want to do gaming? Do you want to do crafting? Do you want to do music? Obviously, those might require some other technical aspects to it that you'll need to consider as well. And then I think going on there, finding streamers that you want to engage with, finding those streamers that you want to connect with, start following streamers, watching them, being in their chat, hanging out with them. Obviously, don't go on people's streams and self-promote. Don't do that. That's a naughty thing. Don't do that. But go in there and just just be a viewer. Be a viewer. And eventually, the longer you hang out, people will start asking questions about you and asking what you do. And then you're like, oh yeah, I'm also a streamer. Oh cool, you're a streamer. Oh my gosh, what's your channel? I want to check it out. I do that all the time. People will come in and they'll start hanging out with us, and then I realize that they're a streamer, and heck yeah, I want to go check their channel out. So again, just kind of going in there, checking it out. So yeah, I think those were 3 steps, but I feel like that's like a good little starter pack right there. And doing research too. Go on YouTube and just type in, you know, Twitch starting on Twitch, or, you know, Streamlabs too. Figure out how to use Streamlabs or Stream Elements, whatever you're going to use. That's its own little beast there. That's, again, the back end that allows you to stream to Twitch. So doing research on Streamlabs, watching other streamers, figuring out what you want to do, and getting all the tech stuff. So hopefully that answers your question there, Bob. Let's see. Who are your favorite streamers on Twitch? I like a lot. So I go into my own little like crew that I follow. So for instance, like A-Tray, I don't know who's in here watching from the Twitch world, but A-Tray is a great streamer. She is one of my favorites. She is primarily an IRL streamer, but with the pandemic, IRL means in real life. She walks around, she goes to different places, she shows people who might not live in LA, places in LA. But she's great. She's an awesome streamer, and she's just really good with interacting with her chat and showing her chat around, and just being able to do that aspect of it, the just chatting aspect of it. So let me see what else. Ammunition. She's one of the oldest. I say oldest is in terms of like how long she streamed on Twitch for, but she's great, and she's a female streamer, and it's amazing how she's able to garner her community, and how she's able to utilize her skills and her presence and her voice, and yeah, and she's a bigger streamer. Yeah, let's see. TheStrangeRebel, she'll be here soon. Yes, SRG crew. Let me see. We've got about 2 more minutes, and the other streamers are going to get in here. Let me see if I can answer a couple more questions. Has the pandemic helped growth? Yes, the pandemic has helped the growth. As horrible as this pandemic has been, and you know, as much as we don't want to be in it as well, I've been streaming more on Twitch, which means the more you stream, the more things are going to happen, the more viewers you're going to gain, you know, the more finances are going to come in. So yes, it has helped, to be honest, because I don't have anything else to do except for just stream. What are the common mistakes a new streamer should try to avoid? I would say when you're streaming, make sure you're talking. Talking. Even if you don't have anybody there, you don't know who's going to come in at any given point and just see you sitting there playing a game, not saying anything. Make sure you're just talking to yourself. Have a conversation with yourself. Again, you know, don't go into people's channels and self-promote and that kind of stuff, because that's not people are just going to ignore that. Your channel or your comments are going to get deleted. Make sure you go in there and you just become a viewer of their channel. So, hi everybody. Thank you so much for being a part of this. I'm going to go around. The whole gang is here. We are. I'm going to go around, and I just want you guys to introduce yourselves and just tell me what you stream on Twitch. And we'll start with Calvin.
Nice. Is my audio okay? Can you guys hear me okay?
Heck yeah.
Okay. All right, sweet. Okay, so hi, my name's Calvin. I stream music, and I play original songs, and I play cover tunes. It's 3 days a week usually, and it's just been an awesome experience. I've been on Twitch for 2 years now. We had our 2-year anniversary a couple of weeks ago, and we recently hit 8,000 followers on there about maybe a week or so before that. And it's just been a really awesome ride, and I've met some really fantastic people, and yeah, it's just really, really cool. So yeah.
Awesome. Hadriel?
Hi, I'm Hadriel, or Dom. Most people end up calling me by my real name instead of Hadriel, but I stream Monday through Friday. Pretty much anything goes. I've been playing a lot of Mario games for the past couple months, but I also do side scrollers, adventure games, storyline games, pretty much anything. I hate scary games, but I do those sometimes too. It's kind of just whatever we're feeling.
Awesome. Luke?
My name's Luke. I've been a content creator on Twitch for almost 3 years now. Outside of Twitch, I write music for TV and film, which kind of like intersected my interest in actually coming to Twitch and being able to, it sounds weird, but get away from working in studios all day. Like sometimes I just wanted to go home and play video games and things like that. Back when Twitch 3 years ago didn't have such a big music presence. And then I kind of came here as a gamer, and I'm now just recently branching into doing production streams. I don't really do the live playing of stuff just because I'm a studio magic type of guy. But yeah, I stream on Twitch full time now, and it's kind of something that has changed my life in a lot of ways, especially during this pandemic. So that's kind of it.
Cool. Awesome. Brianna?
Hi everyone, my name is Brianna White, also known as TheStrangeRebel. I started making content on YouTube in 2015. It started with all sorts of games, but it's kind of narrowed down as me and my audience have kind of gotten to know each other a little bit better. And I really like playing story-based games, anything with a good narrative, good characters that we can kind of deep dive into and talk about and analyze. That's kind of what we like to do. So I started on YouTube. I started streaming on Twitch about 2 years later. And it's been an amazing journey. Recently, very recently, I started voice acting. I was cast as Aerith in Final Fantasy VII Remake, and so that kind of just blended my love for acting and my love for video games really, really well. And so I got to voice act in that game, and then I also got to play it. I got to stream it on Twitch and post the videos to YouTube, and that's just been the most amazing year that I am absolutely the most grateful for, despite everything crazy going on. So yeah, my main thing was acting and voice acting, and it still is. But I use Twitch and YouTube as a way to have a little bit more control over my career and give me something to do while I'm waiting for other stuff to happen in my other careers.
Awesome. I love hearing everything you guys have done. It makes me, I don't know, I just love it. It's just really cool to see the talent and everything. So we kind of talked about so what you guys did before streaming on Twitch a little bit. Can anybody kind of deep dive in a little bit about how Twitch has benefited your career, if at all? I don't know if Calvin or Bree has anything to add to that with acting or music, or if anybody else wants to dive into that.
I've been on a lot of different live streaming platforms over the past 7 years, and I started on it kind of went back and forth, but I was mostly on like YouNow, and then I went to another platform for a little bit, and then another platform, Periscope, and I was on there for the longest time, and that's actually how I grew as a musician and a content creator, and I guess as a person too, because I've also met a lot of my friends on there. But once I got to Twitch, it pretty much took all of the stuff that I was able to gather from all those live streaming platforms and just make a huge level up in terms of opportunities that showed up, the networking that I can do, people that I've met, friends that I've made. You know, it's just been a much wider atmosphere to take advantage of, and it's helped my career like in a lot of ways. And I think I mentioned a few of them a second ago, but it's just and then there's so many more ways it's helped. But that's just, yeah, it's just helped me really level up in the things that I'm doing now, a lot of music stuff. So it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool.
Awesome. Does anybody else want to jump in with that?
I can speak to it a little bit because mine's a little bit different. I saw immediately the parallels between acting and performing on YouTube, making Let's Play content, making content on Twitch as well. Those parallels are pretty obvious to me. You know, the more hours that you can spend on camera, the more comfortable you're going to be on camera. That's a great plus. That's an adjacent skill. But there's kind of a little bit of tension between new media and traditional media in Hollywood. And so I would say that even though a lot of people in Hollywood, when they're casting things, now they go, what are your social media numbers? How many followers do you have on Instagram? But it still doesn't really help you get in the room. It doesn't really help you get a better agent or manager, and it doesn't really help you book roles until you are the viral star, the TikTok, whoever, right? Like the number one. So anybody else in that middle range, lower range, it doesn't really help to book roles in Hollywood. However, one of the things that I love about content creation is it gives me the freedom of expression. I am able to make something that makes me really happy so that I'm not absolutely miserable waiting for my moment to come as an actress. I'm kind of using this as a way to express myself, but it also helps with funding. You know, it is a business and you do have an income stream. You do have a revenue from streaming on Twitch and making content on other platforms. And so that has enabled me to be able to fund my own original narrative content. It's been able to make sure that I have an audience that if they want to contribute to a Kickstarter, they are welcome to do that and they know about it. So those kinds of things are super, super helpful because I can make my own way in the industry. I don't have to be beholden to a producer finding my TikTok, you know?
Yeah, awesome. For those in the chat, I am reading your questions alongside everything, and I'm taking questions that I think would be good to ask and putting them in my document over here, and I'll insert those in. Some questions might not be asked just because I'm trying to make sure that we can get kind of an overall questions instead of too specific, if that makes sense, so it can reach out on a broader spectrum to people. Did anybody else want to jump in with that one?
Yeah. So with me, obviously, my journey on Twitch started as kind of doing the polar opposite of what I did outside of my career, and I guess it's kind of in a weird way. It's benefited my brand just as a person and as a music professional more than anything, because when I started on Twitch, I didn't even have I had two separate Instagrams, one for the streaming and one for the music stuff, because at first I was gaming all the time and I didn't see that there was anything that could coincide between the gaming brand and the music brand. And as I started to see music success, I started to realize that, like, hey, I'm kind of for lack of a better term, shooting myself in the foot by limiting traffic to one or the other, when I should essentially just be growing my brand altogether. And coming to Twitch really gave me that power, because I've worked on a lot of really big music things, but a lot of the time it's back end stuff where you don't necessarily get a lot of coverage. So there's not a lot of opportunity sometimes for growth as far as your music brand goes, especially if you're not the performer. And Twitch kind of gave me that power to grow my personal brand and kind of infuse the things that I love to do into my gaming brand. And now I'm kind of like stuck on variety, but being able to actually grow the platforms in which I intended to do with music alone, but having the ability to bring Twitch on and just kind of tackle it on all fronts has been something that has really shown a lot of improvement for my like social media strategy and growth altogether, really. So
Did you want to add anything, Hadriel, or
I feel like my whole route with like social media and growing has been like outside of that. Like, I don't really market myself all that much. Like, I don't, like, I'm most on Twitter. Like, I'm more of the content consumer when it comes to that. Like, I'm like that to like and retweet someone else's thing. But you know, I tweet when I'm live. I don't really market myself all that much. I don't like self-promoting. Like, I'm all about everyone else like promoting themselves and getting yourself out there and all that. But I don't know. I don't have a real strategy when it comes to growing on Twitch. I like the more, I guess, not grassroots, but grassroots kind of method. Like, if someone happens to see me and they like me and they stay, that's like the kind of crowd I like to bring in. I know everyone kind of likes that natural organic growth as well, but like that's really my thing. And I'm a high energy goofball at best, so it's not everyone's cup of tea. But I mean, I do Instagram, but again, I'm more of the consumer. I don't really post much. I'm more of a consumer. Even on the platform, I'm watching a dozen channels at the same time, even if I'm streaming.
Yeah, but that's
I started on Twitch like in 2013, but I started streaming like 2 years ago. So I've been a viewer way longer than I've been a streamer.
But that's what's great about it too, is that, you know, we all have different ways of approaching streaming, and we all have different crowds that we want to bring in. And so the thing that you said, the grassroots kind of thing, and you want to bring in people, who kind of just find you because that's the type of people that you want in your stream. And I think that that's good for the viewers watching this to understand that, like, there's different ways of approaching this, and whatever works best for you, whatever kind of crowd you want to bring in. So as long as you're seeing something work and as long as you're happy with the success that you're making, then you're doing it right, is what I kind of think. So talking about starting off streaming and that kind of thing, and there's a lot of, I think, new streamers in here, or people who kind of want advice on what it's like to be a new streamer. So does anybody want to jump in on the question of the best ways to help you keep improving and ways to build your own community for new streamers?
Yes. This worked really, really well for me. It's not for everybody, so take it with a grain of salt. Read every comment. This is something I have done since the very beginning, and I asked in every single video, hey, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just starting out. What do you like to see? And so, like I said, I started with a variety of different games. Gary's Mod and Metal Gear Solid and King's Quest, a storybook game. Completely different genres of game. I didn't know what people wanted to see from me, but I asked for feedback, and the internet is gracious. It always gives feedback, whether that's in the form of, wow, I really like this, or more often, wow, this is garbage and I hate you and your ugly face. So that's why I say take it with a grain of salt, because the internet can be cruel, but more often than not, when you're first starting out, in my experience, people were very helpful. They'll tell you what they want to see. And if you take that in a large scale, don't take a single comment as the entire truth. Take it on a large scale, read every single comment and filter through the common themes that keep coming back out at you. And then you'll be able to make a determination of how to improve. So camera quality or audio quality or whatever it is, you have to be willing to say, please tell me what you want to see. Your audience is why you're doing this.
Does anyone else want to jump in with that?
I think that pretty much nailed it for me. I would have gone with the same thing.
Yeah.
I just say, yeah, like community feedback. And as a Twitch streamer, there are a couple different ways. Obviously, you should be on basically every main social media platform that you can get feedback on, whether it be Instagram, Twitter, all those things. But there's also Discord. I know a lot of non-streamers and people who aren't like involved in Twitch also know what Discord is, but it's basically a place you can set up. It's like if TeamSpeak had, everybody could set up their own free server through Discord, but it's a desktop application, and that gives you an opportunity to really gauge interest and get feedback from your community, because the people that are going to join that are typically from your stream or from your social media. And what Bree said, I think it's really important to listen to all the voices, especially when you're starting out, and being able to filter out and look for common themes of like, hey, somebody else said that my mic is not as good as it should be, or somebody else said that me playing this game, I'm extra quiet because I'm too involved in the game, or something like that. So yeah, that's kind of expanding on what Bree said, but I totally agree on every front.
But on that note, there's also a lot of value in watching your own content back. So especially on Twitch, there's a huge portion of streamers who don't watch their own VODs. How are you ever going to know? Sometimes the internet won't tell you. Sometimes the internet doesn't give you that feedback, and that happens. Or maybe you're just not that thick-skinned yet. You're going to work up to it. You don't want to read every comment. That's fine. So watch your own VODs. So many people, so many streamers cut themselves extremely short by not watching their own VODs. Do you want to click away after 5 minutes of watching yourself? Then why would anybody else want to watch you? But if you're making yourself laugh, that's a really, really good sign.
Yeah, I think familiarizing yourself with, like, with Twitch in mind, keeping a base knowledge of the platform, right? So like either just participating as a viewer or familiarizing yourself with like certain terms, phrases, like rating. Most people, when they start off, they have no idea what that is, or like a host. And just learning like those basic things and understanding like the stream etiquette, chat etiquette, that kind of stuff is like a huge thing. Like Katie was saying before, like you don't go into a stream and just start advertising yourself. It's like an unwritten code of like, these are not the things you do in chat. So really getting even just a baseline familiarity with the platform is really great.
Did you want to add anything, Calvin? Or you don't have to.
I mean, not really. I mean,
Okay.
and
No worries.
They all touched on the main like things that you should consider, not just as a beginner streamer, but as I guess an intermediate streamer, a professional streamer, because all of those things are going to keep coming back. Like, how are you continuing to interact with your community? How are you keeping them involved? How are you keeping yourself motivated to keep doing these streams? Because it's easy to hit the go live button, but it's not always easy to maintain your charisma and, you know, the kind of content that you're doing when you just don't think that there's any benefit after doing it for X number of months, or maybe even years if you're, you know, a partner or something like that, you know?
Yeah.
So I guess just staying involved and, you know, like Bree and Luke and Dom were saying, just find ways to keep yourself knowledgeable of the platform and then of your community and what they're looking for, because, you know, if they like it, then you might like it too. Who knows? But you'll never know unless you try.
So we have a question. This asks, what is the most challenging aspect of doing live streaming? I feel like most of us have been asked this question multiple times, but if anybody has their most challenging aspect.
Yeah.
Does everything count?
Right?
No? That's specific? Okay.
I think sometimes it's hard to keep it fresh and entertaining, and not just for the audience, but for yourself. Like, if you're doing the same thing over and over, like, sometimes, yeah, if it's something you really truly enjoy, you can do the same thing every day, no problem. But like, sometimes you want to find that thing, but you want to find it all the time, which makes it really hard to enjoy the content you're doing sometimes, even if it's really good. That's like a hard thing.
Yeah. I think one of the most important ones, especially at an early level, and I think everybody in here has probably felt this before, is it's really hard not to get discouraged when, you know, you first start out, and especially when you first start out, because you're kind of stepping into this unknown territory of like, hey, like, is this going to work for me? And a lot of the time, people coming to Twitch have a huge expectation because they saw last year the big surge of streamers being pushed into the mainstream media, like for instance, Ninja being in ESPN, and then, you know, everybody with a computer is like, hey, I could do this, and you know, and then they follow that blueprint, and then it doesn't work for them for 3 weeks. They stream, and then they just want to call it quits. And I think having the discipline to kind of overcome and kind of critique and read your community and read the people that are watching, whether it be you and, you know, your aunt watches you from 2 states over, you know, I think being able to have the skills to overcome adversity and having the motivation to keep going when things don't feel right, because a lot of the time that's going to happen. It's very scalable, whether you have 0 viewers or 10 viewers, or if you have 1,000 viewers and then 1 week you have 500 viewers, like it can have a toll on your mental health and your motivation to keep streaming. But things are up and down. Twitch is obviously, it's like cable TV, you know, it's like people tune in, they tune out. So being able to just kind of understand the inner workings of Twitch and going in with low expectations for audience, but high expectations for yourself as a content creator, I think is a really good thing to consider. Yeah.
That is such a good little soundbite. Have low expectations for audience, but high expectations for yourself and your content. It's so good.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
So, go for it.
There's a delay. This is fun.
Oh no,
You're good.
talking. Technology, great.
Technology is so awesome.
Technology is the consistent problem forever for all streamers, no matter what level you're at.
Exactly.
Do you see these black bars on the side of my screen? Why are they there? Nobody knows.
We'll never know. We just forget about it. Just ignore it.
It's a mystery. This is also my backup camera because the current camera that I'm using isn't working with my setup anymore. And who knows if it's part of the cable, if it's part of the cam link, if it's the actual camera, if it's the software.
We never know.
Nobody really knows. It's
I'll use the bane of my existence.
Yeah, my
Every
backup
stream
camera,
to
and even
fix it.
that's all wonky. So technology is super, super difficult. Learning how to troubleshoot, learning how to Google all of your problems really quickly and efficiently, Talking to
Foo
customer
is a
service
big
reps on the phone,
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
valuable skills.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, those are the aspects. Those are the challenging aspects of streamers right there.
Yeah.
Talking a little bit about network and collaborating. I am one that says network and collaborating is like a necessity. Somebody asked a question earlier if Calvin collaborates with other musicians. Can you guys talk a little bit about good ways to network and collaborate to help grow your community?
Yeah, so I think it's a little bit easier to jump into networking and whatnot, since the question was already setting up a framework. So I think with music it does get a little bit easier to collaborate, because I think it's just there are a lot of people who have ideas, and they're a little bit easier to form, in my opinion, because I guess maybe it's just because I've been doing music for who knows how long. But it does seem like there are a lot of musicians. There are a lot of musicians on Twitch, and so when it comes to ideas that you have, and musicians that are out there who can listen to them and respond to them and help you kind of work with them, it does get easier to network and become a part of their projects, and for them to become a part of yours. But I think one universal thing that works outside of music and works with other careers is that I guess just looking at what the other person is doing, and I guess just having a type of respect for what they do. Who knows how long it took for them to get into voice acting and to become as proficient as they are, or to build this community where they play a variety of games and they have this community that supports them no matter what they do. It's best to have some kind of respect for them, because they've done X, Y, and Z to get here, and they want to do more. They want to better themselves, and so if that's what you're going to do too, then it's a good idea for you to show that you understand what they've been through, and to look at not just your own perspective on things, but also theirs too. That way, it makes the network a little bit easier, collabs a little easier, and then just more networking going forward, I guess.
That was solid.
Yeah, that was great.
To add to that, that was perfect.
Does anybody else have any ideas on ways that they network and collaborate to help grow their communities?
Okay, actually, I do. As a primarily viewer or first viewer on Twitch, just becoming part of other communities is a. I mean, I hate calling it networking, but it's a great way to network. Getting to know streamers, people in the communities, just putting yourself out there, but genuinely, not just doing it with the intention of, oh, I'm gonna go into this stream, they're huge, I'm gonna get known here, and that's
Right.
never gonna work. Be genuine, because people can tell when you're not being genuine, whether you're streaming or whether you're just in someone's chat. So just joining other communities, things that you enjoy, and in time, I mean, it'll take time, but in time, you'll network with people, you'll make friends, and that will help you grow. I mean, that's how I started growing.
Yeah.
I think the important way to think about it is to add value instead of taking relationships, and this is good for life too. Don't think about the value that you're taking, but think about the value that you're adding. And that is going to, combined with, being genuine, being authentic, and that's going to eliminate any weird thoughts of greediness or number leeching or anything like that, because you're thinking, how can I bring value to this community? How can I make it better just by being a part of it? How can I contribute to it? Thinking about it in that way instead of what you can take is going to translate in all aspects of your life, career, etc.
Right.
I hear that.
Did you want to add something, Luke?
I mean, they Dom and I guess everybody really covered this, but networking to me, like the term was always really big. Obviously, when you work in the music industry, like you go to like conventions like NAMM, and you go to those and you specifically go to hand out business cards and things like that. I think, and I can experience this firsthand going to TwitchCon. which is, you know, Twitch's convention, for those of you who don't know, if you're in the chat. Every year, all of these streamers get together, and it's like 100,000. It's a lot. It's like a 3 or 4 day convention, 3-day convention, and you're encouraged to network. But I think the structure for networking, because there's so many social differences and so much more social freedom within the networking aspects of Twitch, because yes, there is a business behind it, but there's also, you're dealing with people who are, you know, when I click go live, I'm the same person that I am off stream. So it's really, you're kind of meeting people for the most part who they are. And I think there's a much more natural way of networking than walking up to somebody and handing them a business card, or, you know, like, because obviously the motives are there. Like, people don't really check those out anyways. But I think what Bree said, like, bring value to a relationship, and just because somebody has numbers doesn't necessarily mean that the business relationship or a collaboration or the friendship aspects would work. You don't know if there's any chemistry there, but because there's such a big community on Twitch, and specifically in Calvin's situation, there's a huge niche of, and it's not even a niche, it's just kind of a huge corner of Twitch that is all live performers on Twitch, and you will see so many collaborations between literally the most talented people you'll ever see, all doing this live as if it was like a live concert. And that just goes to show that it's really like, you're kind of just like hanging out, you know? It's like, and especially at these conventions, so being able to just kind of approach things thinking of a relationship first and not mutual benefit, or not, I guess, one-sided benefit, and more going in with the idea of just meeting people and really just building your network in a non-toxic networking environment, like, you know, handing out the business cards and things like that. So yeah, I use the term networking loosely, but I think it's just like a personal thing for me. I just love making friends, and I think that that's like the most beautiful thing about Twitch and YouTube and these social platforms is, a lot of the time when you're working creator to creator, though there is business involved, it's a very natural process of actually meeting people that you really do like, and can build really long-lasting relationships and friendships. So I think that's important to go into thinking of it that way, and leave the business card handing out and the elevator pitch to the brand deals and the potential sponsors that you'll meet along the way as a content creator, which is huge right now. So.
I would even say, don't go up to a booth and hand your business
right, yeah.
to the first person. You're
Yeah.
fine. It's just gonna go right in the trash.
Mm-hmm.
There
Yep.
has to be a relationship first.
Yeah, some sort
You're
of
right
rapport.
on the
Yeah.
money with the business cards. Just don't work. They don't spend money on them.
Yep.
There's no reason.
There's some people that I've spoken with in regards to brand deals that, like, in their experience, it's been, once they have a platform that's really growing, you know, you see your numbers going up and all that kind of stuff, and things are really going your way, reach out to the companies that you want to work with, that you already use their products, that kind of thing. If you're going that route, you know, to reach out for brands and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And going off of just the whole, like, you know, friendship building thing, when you're networking, when you're collaborating, you don't have to collaborate and network with everybody. Like, find people that you're like, man, that person's really cool. Like, I would like to just get to know them because they just seem like a cool person. Like, you know, like, don't network with people that you don't have any interest in at all. Because that's where it gets weird. Like, that's where it gets to, like, what Luke was saying, like, networking, like that vague word of that's networking. Like, working with people you don't even want to work with. Like, that's the bad end of it. Like, work with people that you are inspired by, that you look up to, that you are motivated by, you know, and reach out and introduce yourself or whatever. And then again, like what Bree did, like, Bree literally, you know, messaged me. She's like, hey, you know, so-and-so mentioned you, or I think I came in her chat, I don't remember.
It was an audience suggestion, actually.
Yeah.
I said, who would you like to see me collab with? And they said Katy Bentz. And I was like, I'll send a tweet.
Yeah.
And that's how it happened.
Yeah. And it just, like, yeah, obviously she, like, looked at my stuff and watched my stuff, and she was like, yeah, this person seems cool, you know, like, I want to work with her or whatever. You know, again, you don't watch people that you don't message people you don't want to work with. And luckily, we meshed really well, and, like, we had an awesome friendship that blossomed from it. And, yeah, and she recently just had a freaking convention for her own community, which was really cool. And she had me come on there as a panelist. So, you know, it's a great relationship. But yeah, talking a little bit about niches and streaming, going back to just the streaming aspect of it. So is it better to have a niche in the streaming world or a variety? You know, I don't know if anybody has like pros or cons to either of those.
I would 100% say that you just make that decision based on your goals. So if your goal is to align yourself as a brand, like for me as an actress, the brand pretty much is me, but I wanted that separation. I wanted a different brand name. TheStrangeRebel Gaming doesn't have Brianna White anywhere in it, and there's a reason for that. But I do have the separate social media channels. So I think it really is dependent on your goals. If you want to stream music and also do music, then it makes sense to have those things together. So that's a niche. But for me, it makes more sense to have a variety because it's my goal one day to be able to do something different than just playing video games.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Twitch is like, I mean, and this is kind of any streaming platform, but in my opinion, Twitch has the most growth and capability, most accessibility, both on back end, like if you're doing like extensions, plugins, bots, all that kind of stuff. But Twitch can be anything you want it to be, really. Like everybody thinks gaming, and it's like, that's not what it is, and it hasn't been for a while. If you want to game, you can game. If you want to switch things up and do music and sing, even if maybe you don't think you can do it. You can do anything on the platform pretty much, and you don't have to lock yourself into one thing. If you have your niche and you found it and that's working for you, stick with that. But if you want to mix things up too along your way, you can do that at any point. I think it's good to find a niche where you know this is something that works and you enjoy it and people like it, but also don't be afraid to branch out, try new things. The possibilities are pretty much endless to what you can do if you have the drive and know-how or know someone who can help with it, you know?
I think too, like I approach things like kind of in a strange way. I'm obviously like very variety. Like I have this stream setup that I'm sitting at now, which is the gaming one, and then I stream music back there. So it's like I switch between the two, and a lot of people that will watch the music stuff won't watch the gaming stuff, and vice versa. And though that doesn't bother me all too much, I think if somebody has the want to stick to a niche and not do, whether it be like just one game or you know, the just chatting, which is essentially just like the, you know, talk show style or podcast style format on Twitch. I think it all comes down to you have your niche and then you kind of have a sub niche. And I think to me, like the second tier of that is kind of what part of you is going to be involved, or what avenue of growth are you going to infuse within your stream. So for instance, with a lot of gaming people, there are people that play very oversaturated games. What I mean by that is obviously there's a million people playing the game Fortnite because everybody knows what it is. But then there are certain streamers who are really good at chatting and giving game advice or talking about the news with it and things like that. And that's kind of their sub niche. And you can kind of do that in any category on Twitch, whether it be, you know, you do instructional stuff. I see people build Legos, which is one of the coolest things ever. But I think really that decision is up to the creator and really asking yourself, you know, can you play one game? Because I know I certainly can't. Sometimes I don't even want to sit on the side of the room. So I think for me, being able to kind of find your niche really comes down to what type of audience you want to attract. And I focus more on that than what category I'm in, I guess you could say, as far as Twitch goes, because really you're just connecting with people. And whether they mean it or not, I'll ask my community if I should play a new game, and they 9 times out of 10 always say, we don't really care what you play as long as you talk with us, you know. So and that's kind of my sub niche is like Bree, reading every message, reading every comment, and making sure that I'm staying conversational and staying entertaining. Because to be honest, I'm probably not even an average gamer, so I don't really have anything else going for me. But I think the community interaction is what I want to focus on most, and you can really do that within any niche on Twitch. It's kind of up to the streamer whether you want to stay with one avenue of content or just kind of experiment a lot. And I think people should always experiment at first and then kind of just decide like what you're going to go with full time, I guess.
So you mentioned Bree was talking about branding, and you were mentioning your audience, Luke, and how you're kind of like, you know, just hanging out, chatting with them. There was a question earlier, how much has your audience had an impact on your brand? If anybody wants to touch on that. I know for me,
yeah,
definitely.
Yeah, I have a huge one too, if you want me to just
go for it.
So like I had mentioned before, I think in the intro, was a lot of the music stuff I do is studio work, and a lot of the stuff you get credited, but you don't really get like recognized as the artist. So it's really hard to grow a brand as an engineer or producer unless you're obviously consistently making hits or like things like that. And so Twitch has really given me the opportunity to kind of take control of that growth by really putting my brand on the forefront of something, which is something that with all my music projects rarely ever happened. So I think like even with my personal music, I do write and record my own music. I didn't even put it up on Spotify, but like in my stream, I'll have a bot like shout out my SoundCloud link, and it's like approaching thousands of views, thousands of listens on the songs. And it's all because the community is interested in what else I do outside of playing video games, or interested in following up in the topics that we talk about that are music related on stream. And I think that's something that I wouldn't be able to find anywhere else unless I was a touring musician where I'm in a room with people that are willing to give me the 2.5 minutes to play a song or things like that. So I really think that Twitch is a really supplemental platform to a brand as a whole. And though people can be just Twitch streamers, I think if you have anything else to bring to the table, whether you're a voice actor, voice actress, actor, musician, whatever, Twitch is a really insane place to direct people who are truly interested, because your core community will be interested in your life. And whether you want to share whatever you want to share is totally up to you. But personally for me, there's been a huge impact in social media growth. And honestly, just like it's validating sometimes to be able to just kind of like talk about things with people who are interested in what you have to say. And I think Twitch is a wonderful platform to make friends who are there to listen. You know, they're there to hang out, they're there to chat. You're listening to them because you're reading every message, and because of that, I've built close relationships with people on the platform that is, you know, translated into a bigger audience and much bigger brand growth than I ever got just writing music, you know. So I think it's a cool thing.
Does anyone else want to touch on if their audience has helped grow their brand at all or affect their brand at all?
Well, one thing, okay, actually I've noticed a couple of things about my audience in particular, but probably also for other communities as well. First things first, I've noticed that Twitch communities, or at least at the very least in the music community, it might be the same in other communities too, but they are fantastic hype people. Like whatever it is that you're doing, like if you're releasing music that's coming out, or if you're having like a release party, or if you're mentioning you're gonna play this new game, they're like, oh man, I cannot wait until you do this. I'm gonna like, I put all my stuff on the back burner so I could watch you play this or be there when you release this song or something like that. And it's like, dude, I don't get this kind of hype energy at a gig and like any of my IRL gigs. I don't see that at all. Like if I mentioned I'm gonna have some new stuff coming out, people are like, oh cool, yeah, all right, awesome. We'll look forward to it. Or maybe they'll be, yeah, I can't wait. But when it comes to Twitch, it's like you don't have just one hype person. You've got like, if you have 50 people in your stream watching you right now, you have 49 hype people and one person who's just kind of there. And it's insane to find that kind of dynamic, because you definitely wouldn't find that, like, I guess I keep mentioning like live gigs and things because that's what I do. But like if it were, maybe like I don't know. It's just interesting to see how energized they get. And then when it comes to the kind of music that I also do on my live streams, I have a loop station that's right underneath my studio desk, and I have my piano and my instruments over here and stuff like that. I put it all into my loop station and I play around with that, sometimes for like 5 minutes, sometimes for like 10 minutes, 20 minutes. And these people are still listening, they're still there listening to me, and they see how it transforms, how it progresses. I like to connect songs, and I do that through like chord transitions and things. And the kind of feedback that I see from people ranges to how I could make that a little stronger, to just saying, man, that's freaking insane. And I just really enjoy that. And it just to kind of have that audience, it gives you the motivation you need to build your brand, to focus on how to better your audio quality, video quality, how you interact with the chat, because you just want to be a better person because they're such good hype people. It's like that energy is being carried from them to you, and now you're like, I got to do something with this. So it's been a really interesting thing to see how an audience can, yes, affect your brand, but also just, I guess, affect you as a person. It's really interesting.
Could I extend something on that?
Of course.
It's something that I've been thinking about this whole time that you were mentioning it, like, especially during all this COVID stuff, when it's been a really hard year for performers, and obviously the safety of people is really important. But on the flip side, if you're somebody who plays gigs at bars or things like that, it's been a hard year. And Twitch kind of gives you an opportunity to kind of overcome the obstacle of not being able to go out to a bar, but still having an audience. And one thing that's really cool to me is I see the indie musician not signed to any labels, nothing, on Twitch, right? And they'll have 500 people watching them. And you have to think about that in perspective of, they clicked go live and they're jamming, they're having a good time. And there is more people that would fit in any main street bar watching them than, it's a really, really good avenue. And especially during the pandemic, I think audience is really important and can genuinely change the lives of specifically music streamers and people who do the live performances, because there's not really much else going on in live performances right now. But I just wanted to add that. I think it was...
Going off of your audience getting excited about what you do and wanting to know more about things you do off stream, how do your stream analytics, like if we look at our stream analytics, that could be our views, our income, and the patterns of that, do you adjust the stream to help to, I guess, bring more people in? If you have like a higher view count during a certain stream, are you trying to garner that? Or if you have a higher income during a certain stream, are you trying to do what you did during that stream over and over again? Or how do you guys work with that?
Analytics are just like comment feedback, but without the comments. So analytics are a way to know when something is going right or something is going wrong, whether that be income, view count, watch time, whatever it may be. But you have to be really careful with that as well. For the same reason, you have to be careful of comments. There will be the occasional or more than occasional troll. There will be the comment that is an outlier, that is maybe well-meaning, but can't be replicated. So with analytics, sometimes you have a really door-busting stream that does so well in one way or another, but it can't be replicated because it just so happens that your stream was recommended by the Twitch algorithm or YouTube algorithm, or your stream started right as another one finished, or maybe you got rated by somebody that doesn't normally stream or that doesn't normally rate you. So there will be those one-off things that you have to be mindful of, and that includes one-off bad times. So sometimes you stream on a time where a big game just got released and you're not playing that game, and all of a sudden your viewers are lower, and you go, well, why? I don't understand. What happened? What did I do wrong? What do I need to change? You didn't do really anything wrong, and you don't need to worry about it in the future. So I think with analytics, the really important thing to remember is look at big picture. Don't look at the day-to-day. Don't check it multiple times a day. Don't do that with social media either. Take the big picture. Look at it once a month and search for trends over time, and you won't drive yourself crazy that way.
Yeah, I have all my stats. Like, you get the email after stream, but I have it from Streamlabs and Elements as well. It all goes into its own subfolder, and I'll look at it occasionally, but I don't, like, I'll look at how much chat interaction I got versus anything else, and if something got a little more, I'll try to maybe do that a little more often, but ultimately it's still the things that I enjoy doing versus this is the popular thing right now, let me do this.
Mm-hmm. So, I'm not too sure who is watching this, I guess, in terms of like people who want to start streaming, people who want to do tech stuff. But we are streaming this for entrepreneurs at Sacred Heart and for others who are watching who are interested. But what advice, if any, would you have for first-time entrepreneurs looking towards Twitch for something that they want to bring to the channel, to the platform?
Understand that there will be hoops that you'll have to jump through. But if you persevere, and it's going to be a lot of work and effort, like audio is a nightmare for me, but I still try every single day. You know, it's not that hard to get started. You don't need top of the line gear. You can start with like a laptop if that's all you have. But you can slowly make your way up to that higher end, and as you're growing, and you'll see that growth, and you'll see dips, but you'll see growth again. Just understand that that's gonna be there, and you'll have to just keep working through it.
I think there's a real correlation between streamers as entrepreneurs and entrepreneurs of anything else. I think that one of the most important things that you can do is to start by doing everything yourself. As a streamer, we are our own tech person, we are our own product manager, we are our own quality assurance, we're our own social media manager, marketing, finance department, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And that is all things that you'll need as an entrepreneur too. And yeah, you have to discern your strengths and weaknesses so that you can know what you need to hire out. I don't like numbers. I don't do my own taxes, but you have to know what your strengths and weaknesses are by doing it all yourself first. So if you're not going to be good at social media, you have to try it yourself first. And there's lots of benefits to that as well, because eventually when you do know you're no good at it, you know what you are looking for when you need to hire out for it. You know what you're looking for and what works for your brand so that you can tell the person you hire what you need from them. And you can be entirely more grateful when they do a better job than you. So you have to be able to do everything yourself first as an entrepreneur, and that is the same for streamers.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think another thing too is another thing I mentioned like earlier was managing the expectations of what it's like to start out as a streamer. I think a lot of new streamers see the big streamers and they kind of see how they do things and they say, hey, like there's my roadmap right there, and they think that that might be the way. And though it may be, I think it's important to manage the expectations of what it takes to get to a certain level. But also, I think it's important on that note to make sure that you're kind of infusing yourself, whether it be your personality or a talent that you had before Twitch, into your brand and into who you are, your content identity, starting out, because that's how you're going to build the relationship with your community is by giving them something that is a piece of you, and offering that as content. So I think just managing the expectations of knowing that in a week you're not going to have 30,000 viewers, and then also if you do everything that Ninja does, it may not work for you, even though it worked for Ninja. I think just keeping that in mind and being humble and being allowed to experiment and give it your all, and like Bree said, be able to edit your own videos or obviously make your own tweets. I don't do my own taxes either. But
They're the worst, right? They're
yeah, it's
so
the worst.
complicated.
But I think being able to do that stuff on at least a bare minimum level and having a basic understanding of how the other social platforms like Instagram and Twitter or TikTok, which is still a mystery to me, work, then I think that will give you a lot of headroom starting out as a creator.
Yeah, I would say that be ready to fine-tune your, I guess, just fine-tune everything when it comes to streaming. Be ready to get to that point when you need to, maybe change your audio or change your video quality or something, especially if you want your streams to get better and better as you go along. Be ready to maybe not necessarily fine-tune your content, but keep in mind that your audience is going to shift. You're going to have people that are going to be in your audience that were there, at that moment, and they were watching you play, something like Days or maybe something like Fortnite or whatever, and then they come back 3 years later, and you're still the same streamer, but they've grown out of that, and they want to see you play something else. So keep in mind that your audience is going to change too, and I had to consider that recently because there had been somebody who had come back and they're like, it's been a while since I've been here. Do you remember me? And I'm like, I do. And then I started playing one song, and they're like, do you think you could play at something different? I'm like, I mean, this is the kind of stuff that you liked when you were here before. And then he was like, not so much anymore. So it's just a matter of taking that into consideration. Don't drastically change your content unless you really feel like you have to. But definitely keep in mind that your audience is going to shift. And then when it comes to figuring out, okay, if you hit a brick wall in terms of how you want your content to evolve, then that just means that you need to step back and maybe ask somebody else who has either done it and made it work for them, or maybe someone who's just done it better than you have. And then you can get past that brick wall, you can jump over it, and then move on to whatever things you have next going for your content, more stuff coming down the pipeline. So keep in mind that you need to, going back to what Dom said earlier, know the resources of your platform. So, Discord, Streamlabs, Stream Elements, especially Discord. There are tons of groups, like, for example, there's a Twitch Music Assist group or Discord rather, where there are all these musicians that are streamers, and then also, tech advisors and, just the works. Everybody's there to help each other fine-tune the music streaming community's content, and a number of other things too, just being able to interact with each other. And so just all that said, feedback is crucial, just as much as knowing your audience and growing with them, and then helping yourself grow as a person too, because at the end of the day, there is a person there's a person in front of the camera, not a machine that just does X, Y, and Z. So
right.
The resources are out there if you need help for anything. I mean, most of the communities I'm in are music communities, and it's the most loving, friendly communities that you could ever ask for. There's always a helping hand, whether it's outside of a music community, anything. I mean, there's Streamlabs, Discords for help, chatbot help, like setting up audio, video, basic things for getting set up and getting started, and when to upgrade, product reviews, all those sorts of things that you will need to know down the line, or even when you're just starting. The resources are out there, and if it's not, and maybe there's someone who you think can help, it doesn't hurt to reach out.
We have a couple more minutes here. I see one more question in here I think we can knock out. Again, people who ask questions and we didn't get to them, I do apologize. I was just trying to pick questions that were more general. But we have a question. So streaming via Twitch is one form of revenue. Luke discussed SoundCloud. What other streams of income built around being a streamer? Like, I know there's Patreon. Do you guys have any other forms that you use as well?
Yeah. Me specifically, merch is a really big one, which we've mentioned Stream Elements and Streamlabs a bunch of times. The times have changed as far as merch goes. I used to be in a band where you had to order 500 shirts, which was obviously the overhead cost was expensive to order merch, to even have it in stock, and then you obviously had to send it out yourself too. Both Streamlabs and Stream Elements both have services that are integrated with Twitch and Twitch API, where if people buy merch, it will pop up on your screen while you're streaming, and they make to order, which obviously there's a smaller profit margin than just printing them yourself or buying them in bulk. But as a small streamer, I don't see any reason not to have merch really ever, just because the opportunity to design the merch and have it ready to be printed is free. So merch is a big one. If you become a Twitch partner, or sometimes even if you're not a Twitch partner, I'm not a Twitch partner, there are Twitch brand deals that you can do that you obviously be selected for. But once you get to a certain point, there are opportunities with brands. Advertising is massive on Twitch. It's absolutely massive, like it is anywhere else in the advertising world. But that's another really good avenue. And then, like Katie said, Patreon is huge, which I'm not super familiar with it, but I know that it's like a subscription-based thing. And then there's other things like Twitch extensions too, where bits can be transferred into making a loud sound, which I believe Katie addressed in the beginning of the stream here. But things like that, there's so many avenues of revenue available to a content creator, because it is such a wide umbrella of things that you essentially do, whether it be just on Twitch or other places as well. But I think it's important to keep those in mind at any level. And obviously, whatever you do, make sure you're providing value to your community. If you're making merch, maybe it'll be good to talk to them first about what type of merch they would like. My community likes to troll, so mine have like farts on them and stuff, stuff like that. But anyways, yeah, there's so much out there, and I named a few. If I missed anybody else wanna say anything?
That touches on all of them, really. Yeah. On Twitch, the monetization options are plentiful and they're gamified, so people really enjoy them. But essentially, you kind of want to think about revenue from content creation in 3 different categories. One is from your viewership directly, so people who subscribe to you on Twitch or either are members on YouTube. And then there's revenue from the platform itself. So this is usually in ad dollars. If YouTube or Twitch shows ads on your channel, you get a small cut of that. Very, very small, extremely small, very small cut of that. And then the third is from brand deals that you broker yourself, advertising deals that you broker yourself. So that's kind of like the 3 main categories of revenue on any content creation platform that you can think of.
So hopefully that answered your question there. We are at time, but I just wanted to go around and do a little plug yourself thing. So we'll go around again, Calvin, starting with who you are and where they can find you.
Yeah. So if you go to Twitch and you look up CalvinThomasMusic, that's where you'll find me and all of my amazing people. We stream 3 days a week, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays, 3:30 p.m. Eastern. And just come on in, request some covers, originals. You can request those too. They're greatly appreciated. And then if you want to find out more about me, the best place to go is CalvinThomasMusic.com. Now I have social media as well, Instagram and Twitter, but CalvinThomasMusic.com is the hub. That's where you'll find everything. So yeah.
Awesome. Hadriel?
I'm IamHadriel pretty much everywhere except for Twitter. I have the underscore at the end. I have a site that links everything under the sun. It's links.hadriel.live. You can find my Twitch, social medias, everything there. I stream Monday through Friday. Times vary. Typically a little later in the day. I'm Pacific time right now. I go between East and West Coasts. So I live in Jersey, but I'm in California right now. But times vary. I always post on Discord, Twitter, wherever, when I'm going live. I'm always on Discord. I'm always around. If anyone ever wants to reach out.
Awesome.
Luke?
Is it my turn? It's my
yes,
turn.
It is
okay.
your turn.
Well, I'm Luke. I don't know if it was in the same order as what you see. But I'm Luke. I'm a variety content creator and musician and music producer. I can be found every social media as LukeDimond. Diamond is without the A. I know it's very confusing. But I'm very active on all social medias because my phone is stuck in my hand at all times. But you can check me out on everything. Twitch is definitely my main platform, but then there's Twitter and Instagram as well.
Bree.
Thanks for having me. Once again, my name is Brianna White, also known as The Strange Rebel. You can find me at Strange Rebel Gaming on YouTube if you're into Let's Plays of story-based content or you want to see me cry at myself in Final Fantasy VII Remake. But if you're into more, happy, smiley, just photos, all of my acting and modeling updates are on Instagram at It's Brianna White, as in, hey, it's Brianna White! So that's where you can find me for any of that stuff.
Awesome.
And again, guys, my name is Katy Bentz. You can find me at twitch.tv/Katy Bentz, Katy Bentz on most places. Thank you guys so much for coming to this panel. I hope you guys have learned something. I'm sure if you have any other questions, you can contact me. My email is on Twitter. You can contact me directly there if you have any questions, and I'd be happy to answer anything.